everybody, it's Honest John again. Now, full disclosure, I'm an atheist. So I don't believe in the stuff I'm about to talk about, but a lot of people do. One of the most common tenets of the Christian faith is inherited guilt. It all begins with Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, who ate an apple God told them not to. Now, at the time, Adam and Eve were complete innocents who had no knowledge of good and evil. Technically, it was impossible for them to sin, and yet they did commit the first sin, even though they had no idea what sin was. So the deck was kind of stacked against them. Sooner or later, they were going to screw up, especially since God didn't bother to warn them about Satan, who was waiting in the wings for them. He tricked them into eating that apple. And despite the fact that an omniscient God already knew that that was exactly what was going to happen, God really got pissed. Not just at Adam and Eve, but at every human being that was ever going to exist. Now, at the time, the only human beings who existed were Adam and Eve. But all of those non-existent human beings were held as responsible by God for what Adam and Eve did as them. And this required the ultimate sacrifice by his son. Now think about that. Think about just how unfair it is to blame people who haven't even been born for something their ancestors did. That you and I are as much to blame for what Adam and Eve did as they were. This was a terrible precedent, and it led to a lot of other bad stuff. For example, Noah's Ark. God didn't like what some people were doing, so he decided to kill everybody. He later repeated that same thing in Sodom and Gomorrah. God also killed a whole bunch of Egyptian children because the Pharaoh wouldn't let the Jewish slaves go. It didn't matter that these children had nothing to do with that. And this kind of thinking still pollutes the minds of Christians. It was okay to persecute Jews because they were all held responsible for killing Jesus, even though this was the act of a government functionary. Every Jew shared the blame. This kind of thinking eventually led to the Holocaust. Now, no right-thinking person would blame you for something your relatives did, but nobody questions that God would, even though it is fundamentally unfair. But it's okay, because he's God. Thanks for listening. Well, I want to thank you all for watching my videos. But there are certain changes that Google has made to YouTube, which, since I'm a smaller channel, means that I can't monetize my videos. So I found places where I can. So instead of watching my videos here on YouTube, I'd appreciate it if you go either to Patreon or to Top Buzz. They let me monetize videos, and I don't even have to put commercials on. So, if you want to become a patron on Patreon, that's fine. If you don't, you can still watch the videos there. I've just kind of given up on YouTube. YouTube is just a place that I use so that I can put my videos in other places. So, Patreon, Top Buzz, the links are in the description box. Thanks a lot.